The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and
He missed the pit completely. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
The stars may be different in a southern sky, but the noble gas law applies no matter the hemisphere, allowing us to float amongst the Australian billows looking down at Phillip Island and its Grand Prix circuit, which today plays host to round 4 of 10 on the Championship Motorsports iRacing GT3 series schedule. And you can see all the action from Orange Zone to Championship Splash Zone live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. That's right, the CMS GT3 Series returns to GSRC, and this 15-minute Streamy Award-worthy pre-race show has been packed tighter than a greedy swag man's tucker bag, with all the information you'll need to appreciate how the series got to this point and what is in store today for the drivers piloting our field of Audis, Mercedes, BMWs, McLarens, and Fords. So bring cyberspace into your place. Fill your own tucker bag with a couple chilled cans of Bundaberg ginger beer, throw in a couple Vegemite sandwiches, put your feet up in the recliner, and enjoy the 60 minutes of simulated road course racing that will be streaming your way. G'day mites, and welcome to another GSRC broadcast. I'm Bill Soupzon. Joining me in the booth for Season 2 is Adam Forever Young. Turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director and proud graduate of the Institute of Pits Topology, Dr. Ramjed himself, Amjed Yaman, armed with the camera locations created exclusively for GSRC by the much sought-after Dougie Beard. For those unfamiliar with the Championship Motorsports, it is a virtual motorsports and sim racing league that's been around since 1999, offering a variety of racing and training programs using computer simulators on several platforms like R-Factor 2, GTR2, and Richard Burns Rally. But the name of today's platform is iRacing, and the GSRC, well, we pick up the Season 2 action with the 3 races already in the books. But before we review what's already happened, let's bring in my partner Adam Young to look ahead at the track our drivers will be doing battle on.
Yeah, Soup, nice to be with you here again in the land down under. Of course, Phillips Island. You know, pretty historic track here, 2.76 miles in length. Of course, we got 12 corners that our drivers will be having to fight through here for today. And each one of these corners, hey, it's pretty different. This is a very, very fun track to drive, and I think you'll see that out of these GT3 cars here for today. And I guess, you know, since we're in the land down under, it's 4.4 kilometers instead of 2.76 miles. But Phillips Island's been around for a number of years, actually dating all the way back to when it originally opened way back in 1928. Of course, it reopened in its modern form in 1988 and hosts everything that Australian Motorsports has to offer. Even hosts a round of the World Superbike Championship. Little known fact, the race that eventually got moved to Bathurst, became the Bathurst 1000, started right here at Phillips Island. But hey, let's go ahead and let Joe Peak take you around and show you what this track is all about.
All right, we've got Kevin Brown in the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Phillip Island. Doohan is up first, a ridiculously fast right-hand sweeper. Passes can be possible, but you need the draft to pull you fully alongside your rival. The embankment will help you keep your speed, so tuck it in tight. Drift wide and there's miles of sand trap to navigate. From there, the southern loop shows up immediately, and like many corners around here, it's a decreasing radius. As if that weren't frustrating enough, just to keep you on your toes, there's a nice crest right when you want to get on the power. This is actually a really important place to nail your exit, because after Stoner right here, you're braking heavily for Honda Corner. This is pretty much your best and only safe passing spot on the track. Everything else will be a very tricky proposition. From there, we head uphill to Siberia. Once again, there's lots of banking here, but your best bet is to square this one off with a late apex. That's because while we climb up the high side of the track and blast through 7 and 8, we won't let off the accelerator until we hit Lukey Heights. You really cannot see what's coming as you come around this long, climbing, 180-degree turn. So if chaos unfolds in front of you, you're blind. Keep it tucked inside once again so you can get set up for the other hairpin of 10. Guys will be overshooting this corner all day with a steep downhill braking zone. Weirdly, you don't want to track out because right away you've got the left-hander of 11. You'll be tentative on the gas until you get to the short blast to 12. Then feather the throttle around this heavily banked final turn. Get that sole to the floor as soon as you dare, because now we're dumped onto the Gardner Straight. As long as you didn't push wide, that is a lap around Phillip Island.
Joe Peak talks us around a lap at Phillip Island. Now to see how things stand in the books here with 3 races in the books, let's take a lap around the 4 major championships. Keep in mind that the 3 driver championships are scored only against drivers in the similar class. In the Pro Division, last season champ Umberto the Eagle Roca started off the new season with a pair of wins. Because the rules allow for drivers to drop their worst result, the Delta Motorsports driver can ignore the round 3 second place and sports a perfect score of 60. Victor Tank Tanaka bested Roca at Sebring. Add in a third at Daytona opener, and the Screw Loose Motorsports Audi team made totals 50 points. Privateer Paul, oh my darling, best result so far was a second at VIR. He sits in third, 20 markers back of the leader. Jared, I fought the Lawson for Screw Loose Motorsports. The Ford team has been competitive, but sans a podium so far holds down fourth. And the main man, Dexter Castro, thanks to a third place last time at Sebring, climbed 3 spots and now is letting 49 Motorsports make a showing onto the overlay. When it comes to the AM division, Jason Lundy is a big fish in a small pond after a slow start at Daytona. The Puffin Motorsports driver has been best in class twice, So with the drop race, Lundy can boast a perfect 60. Lundy's success pushes Little Miggy Alfredo of iLivery's Delta Motorsports off the top spot, but just by 7 points. Can-Am Racing Black and Silver fill out the next 2 spots. Chris Hudson has a podium in each of his 3 races, while the Silver teammate Drew Littke has seen risers this season twice. 18 points at Sebring was enough to jump Screw Loose Motorsports Audi's Curtis Paulson 3 spots onto the overlay. Now, moving to the class that is close to my heart, it is the gentleman's division. Like Roca and Lundy before him, Puffins Racing James Hume has been best in class twice, dropped the other result, and once again you see a perfect score on the board of 60. Jay DeGuerre win at Daytona was enough to push All Balls Racing into second spot. Puffins returns to the graphic again for a second time with Peter Hedren. Can-Am Racing Black's David Slee holds down fourth. And a podium at VIR was enough to nudge Skidmark Motorsports Bart Workman ahead of Championship Motorsports David Anderson for that final overlay. To the Gold Cup Team Championship. Now, keep in mind, unlike the Pro-Am and Gent classes, the Gold Cup measures all the drivers against each other with the top 2 driver results from a team each week counting towards the championship. Without any of its drivers boasting a top spot in either 3 classes, consistency is the name of the game for the first place Screw Loose Motorsports Audi. Surprisingly, a gentleman driver, James Hume, has been the biggest contributor for Puffin Racing, who sits in second, just 5 points behind the top team. Screw Loose Motorsports Ford sits in third, as Jared Lawson had contributed 82 points to the cause. The Eagle, Umberto Roca, is the biggest overall point earner with 102 points, but that is only enough to get Delta Motorsports into fourth. Rounding out the overlay is the black version of Can-Am Racing. There you have it, Adam. We've talked about the Noble Gas Law, the track, and the various championships. Let's move on to review the series and race details.
Absolutely, Soup. And as you mentioned earlier on, this is season 2 of this race series. Schedules for this is going to be round 4 of 10, and these drivers do get 1 drop in this series. Of course, you do have 6 minutes that are 60 minutes in length and 4 races that are 100 minutes in length. And we were discussing with Dexter Castor earlier, it's those 4 races 100 minute in length that the tires come into play, so you're probably not going to see tires taken during the pit stop here at Phillip Island today. Of course, the cars can be either the Audis, the BMWs, the Mercs, or the McLarens, and the Ford. And you can get 1 switch per season, so it's one of those things. Use it wisely. And of course, your setup's going to be with that 65% fuel, so we will see at least 1 pit stop here for today, and we do get 1 fast repair. No incident cap, and you do have an orange zone infraction limit of 4.
Now let's go ahead and look at the race details here, specifically what's going on today. The qualifying, we have 30 minutes that it's open. Then the race is a 60-minute sprint. We got a rolling start. Now here's what's important, the orange zone. You heard talk about the orange zone infractions. That's going to be from the start-finish line to turn 4. And let me go ahead and read directly from the rule book about what the orange zone is. The orange zone should be regarded as a pass with extreme caution area during the first lap of any race. Should an incident occur because a driver chooses to attempt to pass within the orange zone, the driver initiating the pass will likely be held responsible. So pass at your own risk. Yellow flags, well, we're going to have local yellows only, so we're not going to see any restarts or pace cars today. The pit window, we figure, is going to be around 10 minutes, between 25 and 35 minutes to go. And the weather today, I'm going to let Adam talk about our weather because that's kind of his gig. What are you looking at there today, Adam?
Yeah, mostly cloudy skies. Temperature is 67 degrees, mostly cloudy with 67. It's going to keep our track temperature down at 80 degrees, so it's going to be a pretty grippy surface here today, and winds out of the south at about 10 miles per hour.
And qualifying is going on right now, so I wonder if our director is able, maybe he can bring up a top 10 graphic, and we can actually look at the top 10. We'll cover a little bit of the qualifying as it goes on. We see sitting at the top, surprisingly, is Victor Tanaka up there. Look at this, and he's ahead of Paul Oh My Darling. The big look at who's sitting in third. It is the Eagle, Umberto Roca, and right now he's struggling a bit as he is, well, I guess third struggling for him, but he's 0.3 of a second off the leader, trying to get up, but there's still about another minute left in qualifying, so maybe he can get another hot lap in. We'll follow him around. And we're looking right now that we're thinking maybe qualifying is over. These guys are just kind of running their cool down laps right now. I think everybody has probably put in their time. We have a few minutes to hear Phil. Passing zones today, well, they're all over the place. I kind of like the passing zone into one. I think that's, if I were a ticket buying member, that's where I would look to have one. Also, on that back stretch coming out of Siberia, going up into Lukey Heights is also interesting. And then, of course, there is always turn 4, the last turn of the orange zone. That is Honda Corner there. That is that right-hand hairpin. That is always exciting to see. Still filling a little bit of time. We are excited to be here. Remember, this is round 4. They have 3 rounds in already due to scheduling conflicts. GSRC was not able to bring those to you, but we are pleased to announce that we'll be able to go the distance from here. Rounds 4 through 10, you can watch here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Pretty good field here today, Adam, considering tomorrow is Thanksgiving. We got 31 names.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial. I'm pretty sure this might be the most filled league going on the iRacing service right now with the big holiday for tomorrow. And of course, it's great that we're able to bring you the action here for today. Looks like we're gonna have the drivers gritting in about a minute, but definitely some names further down the leaderboard. I'm looking at James Hume starting in 14th right now. It looks like he's gonna be starting in a minute. He's gonna be somebody to try to keep an eye on and try to come through the field. But definitely gonna be a pretty interesting race.
We are going to try to cover all the championships here, as well as the team championship, the Pro, Am, and Gent drivers. Now, for you scoring at home, or if you're just watching alone, you can follow the championships by the car numbers. The cars that are numbered with the 1 in the 100s are in the Pro division. The cars numbered in the 200s are in the Am division. And if you haven't figured out the trend yet, the car numbered in the 300s is in the gentleman class. Looking here, our top gentleman driver, I believe right now, is James Hume. Not surprising. He's sitting in 4th Pink's position. Our top amateur driver looks like it is Robert Sticky Pine Tarbox in the 9th position. And of course, we talked about Victor Tanaka being on the pole. Hey, let's go trackside. And now, for the most famous words in sim racing, representing the Canadian crew, here is your Grand Marshal, Isaac Littke.
Drivers, grid your cars!
The friends from Canada call the cars to the grid, and that is exactly what's going on. Take a look out there as that beautiful gold pace car sits parked in front of 31 other drivers. This being Thanksgiving Eve, I imagine there's more than a handful of spouses that are a little frustrated right now, looking for a little help around the house, getting things ready. But right now, it's all about priorities, and the priorities are round 4 of the CMS GT3 series. 31 cars here today, which really speaks to the dedication of these drivers. Happy holidays from Race Control. Everyone giving their last little comments here as we're waiting for all the cars to get on the grid. We see that Tanaka is out there waiting for Paul Darling to take a spot. If we don't have Darling out there, Tom Ratchie, I believe, waiting for him to grid up. Ratchie is there, actually. We're waiting for Tanaka. Tanaka has not taken a spot yet. Darling is out there. Waiting for the pole sitters. Everyone on the inside row. Tanaka, Roca, Castro. Hopefully they'll be able to get in.
Almost like they're planning it at this point, wait until the last minute, huh?
They want to give us a little extra time.
Yeah.
They know that we have this timed perfectly, and they like to play with our heads a little bit. There comes our pole sitter, Victor Tanaka. Used to him usually racing in a black machine. Today he's out there in that red and black Audi, racing a course for Screw Loose Motorsports.
Very interesting. One of the things, of course, Dexter Castro was in here talking with us a little bit before the race, and we're talking about the last corner. It might be a trouble spot that we're going to have to watch out for. Last corner 12 that leads onto the Gardner Straight there, the front straightaway. Find it interesting, though, that because the Audi's famous for not being able to be aggressive on the curves, and yet they pretty much own the front 3 out of the top 4 spots. So obviously these guys were able to push it and get going.
Let's go ahead and talk about the grid right now. On the front row, it is Victor Tanaka and Paul Darling. Adam?
Yeah, row number 2, Himuro Roca and Tom Rat.
Row 3, Dexter Castro and Miguel Acrudo, your point leader.
Kurt Poulter starting in 7th in the inside of row 4. Outside of row 4, Jared Lawson.
My apologies, Roca is your point leader, not Acrudo. Row 5 is going to be made up of Robert Sticky Pine Tarbox and Drew Litke.
And row 6, it'll bring on the inside of row 6, Tio Bubix, and the outside of row 6, Jason Lundy.
That's a tough one we're going to have to get used to. Chris Hudson and James Yoon, 13th and 14th.
Yeah, Peter Hebron is starting in 15th in the inside of row 8, James Stacy in 16th.
Little Miggy Acrudo in 17th position. Outside of him, Tim Collier.
And Curtis Paulshon starting on the inside of row 10. Outside of row 10 belongs to Scott A. Johnson.
David Anderson and Anthony James make up the next 2 spots.
Yeah, going into row 12, Jay Dargett and Bart Workman.
James Goodwin in the quarter century mark. David Slee in 26th.
In row 14, starting in 27th, Rick D. Smith and Liam Park.
Paul Honeybake Hamilton in the 29th spot and Fred McLeish in 30th. And the last driver out there, Darren Leslie, did not put in a qualifying time, sits at the back of the pack. Maybe the smartest man of the 31 who are out there. Okay, there you have it. 31 names who have entered. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think you mean McIntosh there. Fred McIntosh starting there in 30th spot. You've been watching that new show on ABC about the president, haven't you?
That's it. Sorry about that. Yes, McIntosh. That's easy enough to remember. It's easy to take a bite out of that name. All right, Victor Tanaka up there in front. His nickname is Tank. He's got Paul Oh My Darling on the inside of him. Oh My Darling looking for a first win this time. Tanaka, remember, coming off the win last time, so he's on a winning streak. Pace car working the back half of the course now. They work their way around that left-hander. One more left-hander to go, then it'll duck in. There it is, right there. Now it turns over the control of the field to the Tank, Victor Tanaka, sitting second in points right now. He's on the right-hand side of the track. He'll be in the preferred position for that first corner. Pacing the field, waiting. When is Victor going to do it? When is he going to go? He goes now. Gather up the chicken, take cover behind the cows, because the horses are out of the barn, and they are wildly stampeding into the first corner. Victor Tanaka makes it work. Almost getting into trouble was Umberto Roca, who tried to split between the 2 drivers of Tanaka and Darling. Roca falls back into 4th position.
Yeah, that was almost a very dangerous move that Humberto made, but he's able to gather it together as well as the other guys there on the front row. The other side, outside of that, everybody's been able to get through the first couple of corners smoothly, but we do have some action going on with some GT3, 4 GT3s running side by side with Peter Hebron and James Hume right now.
We watch as everyone making their way around. Roca says orange.
Oh, James Hume's going around. James Hume's going around.
We'll see it right now as they tried to go 3 wide into Honda, and sure enough, then Hume had to hit the brakes because he turned a guy. Then everybody came around him. Actually, that was James Stacy who tried to go 3 wide. And that's who then had to hit the brakes, and then he got pummeled by the herd of cars coming behind him. Orange zone, smorge zone here. That's what they try to avoid as we look from above. I believe this is Stacy who tries to dive in. And then once that happened, there was no way. Everybody comes around. If we misidentified anybody, our apologies. We have to look at it quick. Now we are back live. Let's go ahead and set the stage for you up front. There has been no change since we left you last. Your leader is Victor Tanaka. Second place is Casper. Look at this battle now. Here comes Roca. The Eagle has landed into... yes, that is Roca. There we go. As Roca dives into second position, leaving Darling behind.
Yeah, so far the big winner here at the start of the race, though, is Dexter Castro, the Dex, coming up from start place of 5th all the way up to 2nd after some of those first corners there that were kind of interesting out of the first couple rows. But he's definitely gained the most spots out of most people on track outside of the accident in the back half of the field. But Victor, the Tank, so far here trying to do his best to run away from Dex. I think what you might end up seeing here before too long is possibly a 2-man show try to develop.
And just to show you what's going on out there, you have the Audi of Tanaka, then Dexter Castro, who is as loyal to the BMW as you could ever hope. that your spouse would be to you. My goodness, he is dedicated to that machine, running in second position right now. Another Audi in third from Roca, and then a fourth Audi from Darling. Then we get back to something we're seeing a lot of here. Tom Ratchey running in fifth position in that low-slung Ford. Oh, that's a pretty car. That black machine with kind of purple wheels there. Car number 141 of Tom Ratchey.
Yeah, looking at the AM class right now, too, just to give those guys a mention, Robert Tarbox Jr. Currently out in front of that. And I tell you what, you won't meet a funnier... You won't. Oh, he ended up towing. Okay, hold on. So we got to figure out what's going up here. Dexter's off track. Dexter's off track and in gravel.
We're going to look at the replay, and then we got to go to Castro, too. We'll get that one, too. First, we'll look at Tarbox, who got, my goodness, who actually rolled over. So we have a lot to talk about. We'll see. That was clearly, we'll find out who was behind Tarbox on that. And then Castro, who got punted and had to take a trip through the Australian alfalfa, has now dropped back to about 13th position, 12th position. And that was Roca. That's Roca diving on the inside. Oh, it's Tanaka. Is that what it was? Did Castro make a pass? That was a pass for the lead. My apologies. Castro trying to go on the outside of that. We'll watch it one more time. This is massive net code is what we're hearing. This is now on the outside is Castro, and he just gets shot like a rocket into the alfalfa.
That definitely hurt Dexter, dropping all the way from fighting for the lead down to 12th, and now he's got Drew Lidka right in front of him, and Drew Lidka was the car that made contact with Robert Tarbox here just a little while ago. So you got to get in front of those guys here.
Paul Hamilton just got turned by Rick Smith. A little bit back. We'll see if we can get this one. Hamilton was running in about 25th position at the time, and Smith just got on the up there. We'll go back up just a little bit on him. You see Smith comes in and just gets on the inside of him and turns him around. Oh, there's a spin from Smith. This is probably after he got turned. Maybe he came back out. But anyway, a lot of incidents for Smith. So, a little messy here for GSRC's debut onto the CMS GT3 series. Let's go ahead and set the stage right now. Tanaka out in front, but he is being pestered by Umberto Roca, and then Oh My Darling running in third. Darling off into the grass.
Yeah, one thing, side effect you're going to start seeing here of all these cars going off track and coming back on is going to start making this track pretty slippery from all the dirt here. And hopefully that'll get cleaned up here as the race goes along, but they're kind of outdoing the grippy, cold surface and just putting all the debris on there. Simon Goodwin just went around and made a little bit of contact, it looked like, with Fred McIntosh there as well.
Oh, and there goes Roca out into the beach. Get an umbrella and some sunscreen because you've been out there for too long as he drops down into 6th position. We watch this. He just got those right sides on the grass, and there he goes. This series keeping our director on its toes. We really haven't been able to settle in and set the stage for you right now because there's been so much action going on. But one thing that is happening is we were riding on board a minute ago with Tom Ratchey, and little by little, just from vulturing from attrition, Ratchey has moved himself up onto a podium in that Ford, as Castro has made a mistake, and so has Umberto Roca.
Yeah, action's still going up and down this field right now as far as cars going off and trying to keep things straight. You know, and now people are going to have to start trying to fight through damage as well here over the next little bit.
Simon Goodwin has gone off and put it in the wall. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get that one, but he actually slammed it in the wall. Looks like it was maybe out in Siberia where that happened. Goodwin was running at the back. Might be too far back as we are just slammed with incidents going on. There you see Simon bringing the car into the pits.
Yeah, that was he actually went around twice that last lap there. He's going to take his fast repair and get back on track.
Okay, boys, let's everyone take a deep breath here and let's try to run down your top 10 for you right now. Victor Tanaka. And we'll try to get this done out in front. We'll try to run through the top 10 before Paul Darling actually makes a move on Tanaka. I think we'll be able to do it. Running in third in the Ford is Tom Ratchey. Fourth and fifth now is Miguel Acrudo, who's moved up. Kurt Poulter is in a tough battle for that final fifth position from Umberto Roca, who is done from his travels through the sand and is back trying to make those positions up. Seventh and eighth, Jared I fought the Lawson, and eighth position to Teo Berbikic. Being challenged by Jason Lundy. I believe Lundy is your top AM driver, running right now in ninth position, then rounding out the top 10. Again, a man who had trouble in the BMW, Dexter Castro.
Yeah, Dexter Castro already starting to recover just a little bit, up 2 positions from when he had the incident. He was probably one of the faster cars, so hopefully he'll be able to gain a little bit more here. Still a pretty long race. We still have over 50 minutes to go here.
Yep, they got to get themselves settled down.
Simon Goodwin around again into the tire barrier. He had contact with Peter Hebron.
No, let's go to Paul Darling, because that's a little more significant. From second position, he spins it all by himself. It looks like that might have been in... Was that... Oh, that was in the final corner. That was between 11 and 12. And Castro is off as well. Castro loses position. So let's stay on this one for a minute. Okay, we know we go back. Castro, he's okay. Castro just went in 12, went wide onto the grass, and has dropped a few more positions. We have it on replay, so we'll watch Dexter with trouble. We're spending as much time watching instant replay as we are watching live action so far. Adam?
Yeah, very, very eventful racer. Of course, it looked like Dexter just had to take evasive action there.
I believe that was Darling. I think he might got behind Darling, who had come back, had that issue. We're going on board with Castro now. Darling had gone off. Remember, Darling was running a second, and when he came on, there you see him coming off the grass. Castro sees him, but then he kind of has to check up and to avoid contact, goes off into the right-hand part of the track, and whew. All right, let's go back to live. Well, what that means...
more contact. Drew Lidke is around right in front of Dexter Castro. He had contact, it looked like, with Miguel Acrudo.
Yeah, that was Acrudo, little Miggy Acrudo, making a dive bomb move. Watch this, Acrudo in the blue machine. He just dives it down into the corner, and there was just no way to keep the car. We just caught it at the tail end. There was no way to keep the car from moving up into the other driver, so more problems going on. Boy, the incident review team is going to have their hands full this week. Everybody probably dipping in a little bit to the spirits of the season, maybe, as they're racing here today. Okay, let's go ahead, and it's not done yet. Victor Tanaka out in front, and here comes Tom Ratchey. Now, we talked about Ratchey. Ratchey is up to second position. He qualified in fourth, but he has yet to pass somebody on the track.
Contact!
And now he makes a move. He's bumped off into the wall.
Hard contact into the Armco.
We'll watch above. Ratchey had a great run. Now you see him duck into he's on the outside, and then he just gets pushed over. Yeah, we're going to go on board with Tom, and boy, it's hard not to think the tank kind of gave him a bump off the track. Let's ride on board here, Adam.
Yeah, if I'm Tom Ratchey, I'm probably not a happy camper at this point. Andy had to take the tow on top of that to get back to the pits. He's probably going to be a little hot under the collar after that incident.
Well, let's talk about the drivers who qualified up front who've had trouble. Tanaka still out in front, although he's not blameless. He's bumped a couple people, made it rough on Castro, and now Ratchey. Darling qualified second. He's had trouble. The Umberto the Eagle Roca, he's had trouble. Tom Ratchey, we just saw have trouble. Dexter qualified fifth. He's been in trouble. Miguel Acrudo, he qualified sixth. He's running in ninth. He's had some issues. My goodness.
And the Victor did get over the radio just a minute ago to apologize for that contact there. Miguel Acrudo just went off again. Miguel Acrudo.
Yeah. That's Daddy.
199 car.
That's the senior. That's 199. Acrudo now running in ninth position. He qualified sixth.
Yeah, just in that Audi, just put one wheel off and just enough to send that car around. Remember, the Audi is going to be a little sensitive if you end up doing put a wheel off or hit the curbs a little bit too hard.
Usually we like to run down the field, but actually all we have to do is run down the top 10 because people keep falling out of it. So let's set up the top 10 again for you. You're going to see a lot of new names in here. Right now, running in first is Victor Tanaka. Running in second position, Kurt Poulter. Now he qualified 7th again. He's up 2 spots. Look who's coming back. It is the Eagle, Umberto Roca, running in third. And let's stay on this for a little bit because I think Roca is going to make quick work here of Poulter. You see Roca in the light blue colored car, Poulter in that kind of dark red and black machine for Screw Loose Racing.
And Tom Ratchey looks like he's going to call today. He's just disconnected from the session.
They do get a drop week. They do get a fast repair, but probably Ratchey was so far back, he just call it and chalk this one up to a learning experience. I guess looks like that pass for second is not going to happen, so let's go back and look at this. Here's another Ford. And Castro, as we look at Castro, again, getting familiar with the Australian Ponderosa there as he goes off into the grass one more time. Let's go to 4th position, Jared Lawson. That driver qualified 8th, up 4 spots. Teal Bibic. Take a shot at that one, Adam. What do you think? B-U-B-I-C-I-C.
Oh, I've already tried taking a shot at it. In all respect to Tio, I think I'm going to wait to clarify his spelling of his last name.
Jason Lundy, we talked about him running in 6th position now. He is your top amateur driver. Paul Darling has managed to work his way back up to 7th. Actually, this guy's getting out of the way. Nice battle back here for 8th between an AM driver of Chris Hudson and Miguel Acrudo.
Yeah, real quick, just your rundown from the AM championship. Let me just give you your top 3 out of that group here real quick. Jason Lundy right now running in 6th overall. Chris Hudson running in 8th overall. And you got to go down to Drew Liedtke, who is running 12th overall. That's your top 3 in the AM. Your top 3 in the gentlemen, real quick, is Peter Habron running in 10th overall. James Hume running in 14th overall. And Anthony James running in 15th overall.
And of course, James Hume running right now 14th that Adam just said, having a great season, is your overall points leader.
And it looks like Humberto Roca is going to get around Kurt Poulter for 2nd place.
And we'll get that on replay. Got that done down in Siberia. That's an interesting place coming out of Siberia there, that left, and then he gets a great run going down into Lukey Heights. And then gets him into what is the MG corner, that little dive bomb, the pit there you have to dive down. He gets that thing done. So back up to 2nd is Roca.
And so far, with as much action that we've had, including Tarbox putting it on the lid earlier on, the only car, everybody is on the lead lap that is on the track right now. Ratchey and Goodwin have both retired from the race, but everybody else is on the lead lap.
Let's go to 11th real quick, as there's a battle here between Hebron and let's say, oh, that's Castro still trying to make up some position. As they go into one, Castro has been Mr. Excitement this race. Takes that BMW deep into the first corner and just powers around Hebron in that Ford. Nice job from Castro as he works his way back up now into 11th. Dexter probably would win the award for passing the most cars on track and spending the most time in the grass.
Rick Smith pulls off the track and lets the leaders by here.
Yeah, he's just kind of pulling over into the, get out the ice box and a couple sandwiches there. Let's go back up front. Oh, and a little bump. We can get this on the replay, and this is Tanaka as they dive down. I believe that's corner 10, the MG corner. the hole as they dive down in there. Tanaka got on the brakes and he got an I love you tap from the Eagle. This was more than a little pecked by the Eagle. This was a nice little boom. Back live now. Tanaka picks up a little bit of a gap now. That interval from Tanaka is about a half second back to Roca. But Roca will make that up quickly. Those two guys have pulled away a little bit. Poulter running in third. Looking for your big mover. Maybe we can drop down to the car running in 16th position, I think. Is it Anthony James? Where is he running right now? He's up to 15th position. This is your big mover. He's up 7 spots, qualified 22nd, running in 15th. He's got around Curtis Paulson and Scott Johnson. And that is a gentleman driver. And in fact, he is your second best gentleman driver right now, running right behind Ewell. Now remember, when you think about scoring, what they have changed this year for season number 2, as Hudson has put it in the wall. Running in 14th now. Well, at the time he was running in 14th. This is a self-spin. Again, out of Siberia. He looped it and then just let it roll back right in. It's one way to stop the spin. And he drops back several positions.
Here in just a minute, Victor Tanaka and Humberto Roca is going to end up catching Victor's teammate, Robert Tarbox Jr., in the Ford GT. So lap traffic could play a role in our leader battle here before too long.
Tarbox, remember, he had some issues, but he is the last car on the lead lap right now.
I was trying to say it earlier, right before he was in the process of wrecking at the time. You won't find a funnier guy on iRacing than Robert Tarbox Jr. That guy is hilarious, and I got to bring up Layla R. Wilson's YouTube channel. If you ever get a chance to check that out and just want some laughs, check that out as far as iRacing and laughs. And he's on there quite a bit. And just a real funny guy. I love Robert Tarbox. He's an awesome guy.
But he's going to have his hands full in a minute because the two cars coming behind him running 1-2 are in a hot battle right now. We better put the cameras on it, and we're looking at Tarbox. If back up one car, that's Victor Tanaka, your leader, and then Humberto Roca running in second.
Yeah, Humberto Roca is getting ready to just be absolutely surrounded by these unified performance cars because, you got Robert up there in the unified performance car, and then, of course, you got Kurt Poulter behind him, and I really think that right now Victor is slowing Humberto up, and so wouldn't be surprised to see Kurt maybe try to gain a little bit ground on the front two here.
Looking at it right now as we watch with Roca. Remember, he fell back from that early mistake, has made all that time back up. And we're going to stay on this for a minute here as we have some technical gremlins to deal with. But fortunately, we're going to put the camera on our leaders for a minute. Both the director and I have the same issue, I believe, right now, but we're watching. That is your leader out in front, Victor Tanaka. The tank being pestered by the Eagle, Humberto Roca. Born in Bolivia, now hails in Florida. And right now, hailing in second position. And we're back now. We have everything worked out.
Well, after a pretty exciting first 20 minutes of this race, things have finally started to settle down just a touch, so that's finally kind of given us a chance to breathe a little bit, which I guess it's good that you guys having the technical gremlins now as opposed to about 5 minutes ago, huh?
Yes, this is good. We got those settled down, and I would think we're probably in the pit window right now, so I wouldn't be surprised to see some guys start to come in pretty soon. So it looks like the battle for the lead is settling down a little bit. Let's do this quickly. Tanaka and Roca, 1-2. Running third, Kurt Polder. Remember, he was up to second, then Roca got around him. Fourth position, Jared Lawson. And let's go back to fifth. We have a battle back there between Tio and now and he's going to spin. Now, I think that was Darling. That was Darling on the inside. Seems like every time there is a pass, it doesn't happen cleanly. And you know what happened on this one? I think they ran up on the back. This is kind of a 3-car incident. I think he was running. I think Darling was running up on the back of Jared, who was in fourth position. Let me. Yeah,
I think that's an accurate idea of what happened there. And Paul Darling, the closing distance was just too fast under braking there.
Fourth and fifth were gaining fifth and sixth were gaining on fourth like nobody's business. And then they just got together. That's a tough one. The guy who makes out the best, Paul Darling, now moves up to fifth. But again, Adam, it seems like every time we're looking for a pass, chaos occurs.
You know, and that's Phillips Island doesn't. You know, usually lends itself to a little bit of wider racing, as both Victor Tanaka and Humberto Roca are going to get around the lap car now of Robert Tarbox pretty easily. So they are now 1-2 with plenty of clean track in front of them. But, you know, usually you're able to pull off some relatively clean passes at Phillip Island. So not exactly sure what's going on tonight. Maybe just a little something in the water.
Some early tryptophan from the turkey, I think, is what's going on here. Other than the Roca pass around Poulter, I'm hard-pressed to remember one in the top 10 that went successfully. And with that said, we better go back, as we're looking at 11th position there with Collier. I think we better go back up to the front again, because here he is again. Watch as they dive down into 10. This is where they had trouble last time, under braking. This time they get it sorted out. But my goodness, these guys have a pinata full of bees in front of them. They're going to be running up pretty soon. And that's going to be Tarbox, Paul Honeybake Hamilton, and then Fred and
Victor puts the wheel off, and it's going to allow Humberto to get alongside of him.
Oh, here we go. Some good drive from that blue machine on the outside. But the preferred mission is going to go to Tank on the inside. Let's see if Roca can hold that position as they work their way through one. If he can hang on, he'll be in the good spot for two, but he doesn't. And able to close the doors, Tanaka, as he holds on. And then he takes defensive, and now trying to go around the outside. That's not going to work as Roca. And watching the whole thing is the lap car of Tarbox.
And remember, that is what they call an orange zone in CMS, that section through 1 through 4, and if a passing driver makes contact, it's probably going to be on them.
Yeah, that was only the first lap. Let's look at Fred McIntosh as he goes off course.
Right in front of the leaders.
Yeah, he was in that battle that we talked about before. He was battling with Leslie. Now let's watch, as we're going to get on replay, we're going to watch McIntosh as he takes a bite out of the alfalfa. And while that's going on, let me give a tip of the hat to Darren Leslie, who did a great job of letting the top 3 drivers get around him, and in the process actually gave up a spot to Robert Tarbox. Now let's go back up, Director. Can we go to 4th position? Honeybake Hamilton in the battle here. Car number 377. He's got the leaders right behind him. He backs out. He lets them both go by. Whew. Adam, if I'm Victor Tanaka, I'm saying, okay, I've had enough of this. Let me come in and do my stop.
You know, there's something to be said for pitting a little bit on the early side, you know, pitting when, you know, it's not as crowded on and off of pit road. That might be something that might not be a bad idea, but really might not be a bad idea for Humberto Roca. You know, try to get the pass done in the pit lane while you have a little bit of clean track in front of you. It wouldn't hurt at all, and of course you're having trouble getting around Victor, so why not?
Yeah, the last thing I would do if I was Roca is come in at the same time Tanaka does. I think I'm faster than Victor, so either let me come in early and I will run a lap and be faster. But actually what I would do if I was Roca is I would see if I could stay out 1 lap longer. Whereas both those guys driving Audis, so they're both those cars using fuel at probably the same pace. Oh my goodness, let's all catch our breath here right now, but the battle for the lead continues as we watch. For all you wondering what to buy our director for Christmas, I know he's hard to buy for. He could use a new replay button. Apparently it is wearing out. Okay, we're going to look at El Crudo, who had an incident. Yeah. And that's coming into Honda.
And he just spun off again, and once again ended up having to lost in braking with the Paul Hamilton car in front of him.
Lost in pits, and also
which that Paul Hamilton car was actually just involved in a pretty big incident. Slid off track right before that last Crudo off, put it in the tire barrier, came on track, and I think made contact with somebody. Trying to figure out who. Oh, he put Jared Lawson, I think, almost went over. That's your 4th place runner at the time.
I think we found it. Looking for what happened to Lawson.
It'll be right here. He clips Jared Lawson as he goes by and almost puts him over.
Yep. One more time. We're looking from way above. This will be a good. Now we go down here. Go around and. Oh, that's about as close as you can come. All right, we're going back live again. Let's go ahead and see what's going on. Tanaka still out in front. He's distanced himself a little bit now from Roca. He's got about a 1 second lead. Again, where is the pit stop? We are working now with about 30 minutes to go. We're about the halfway mark. And it's not surprising that Dexter Castro has brought the BMW in. Castro said to us, one of the funnier lines, that his car has a severe drinking problem. And so the very thirsty BMW first in, but within the window to go the distance from here. None of the other drivers yet to pit.
James Hume was having problems getting into his pit box and getting the pit crew to activate there. But he's now back on track and is able to go. But lost quite a bit of time in the pits there a few minutes ago.
Let's quickly cover a battle we haven't had much time to look at. 12th position right now, James Johnson and Curtis Paulson. We'll give a little bit of attention to this one. This is a battle. I'm sorry, Scott Johnson, my apologies, and Curtis Paulson. This is a battle for the 2nd position overall in the gentleman class. And we're looking at this, and my apologies, Curtis is not. He's a 287. That puts him in the amateur class. I apologize. Let's drop back, though, to 14th position here. We have a battle, again, between an amateur and a gentleman driver, and that's Chris Hudson. He's had some issues. And Bart Workman. We apologize for not being able to give as much love to the guys in the mid-pack right now, but with so much problems going on up front, we've been busy with replays, trying to give you all the action that we can. And we look through at some of the big names that have had trouble. 4th qualifier, Tom Ratchey, is out, running in 30th. Dexter Castro qualified 5th and 18th position. Miguel Crudo's 6th position is down to 10th. A lot of big names having trouble today.
We can at least add another spot to Dexter here after his pit stop. He just got back around Jared Lawson, so he'll move up into 16th position here. Has his eyes set on Tio running in 15th, but Dexter was able to take advantage of getting that free car after some of that contact earlier on.
I would expect here with 30 minutes to go, there's still a very legitimate chance that Castro can grab himself a top 10 before the checkered flag drops.
Well,
Go ahead.
He was running at about at the 7th or 8th right before his pit stop, so I'm actually thinking that Dexter might have his eyes set maybe on a top 5.
A great race right now for Screw Loose Racing as they are running 1 and 3. That team doing very well. That's Tanaka and Kurt Poulter. Oh my goodness, as now they work around. That was, if we look at Liam Park there in 20th position. Boy, he got scared as the Eagle swooped in and took that position, even though it wasn't for actual position. Roca wanted to hang on to the back of Tanaka.
Miguel Arcrudo was able to just move back up into the 9th position. It almost had to fight off a over-under move by Anthony James going through that 1 and 2 corner complex.
We look there at that battle for 9th. If we go up a couple, if we move up to 6th position, there's a nice battle here, a 3-car battle between the Ford of Hebron, the Audi of Tim Collier, and then another Audi of Drew Litke. That's a battle for 6th. We'll keep an eye on that, Adam, after the pit stops are done. See how those guys fare. If you're scoring at home, write these down in this order: Hebron, Collier, and Litke. Oh, and as we say that, why don't you give a big scratch to Peter Hebron, who has put it in the grass, and the Ford continues to sit there. I think it's hardware, or did he? He's trying to turn, but nothing happening.
Oh, that's no good. He had a very good run going.
All right, that's not my fault. Yes, that's kind of commentator's curse. All right, on your clip, boys and girls, you can scratch that name off. Let's go back up to our leaders real quick, because they're going to work on... My goodness, here we are again with Paul Honey-Baked Hamilton. Seems like he's always in the mix as the leaders work their way through 10. That's the MG corner. I believe it's the MG corner for the sports car. I call it MG for, my gosh, that corner is hard. Now they run up, they negotiate their way around Hamilton. Now the leaders are coming up behind Rick Smith. Rick in that beautiful Ford, beautifully blue painted car. Not
Representing
sure.
the United States Air Force in the land down under.
And we'll stay on this here as, let's hope it, oh my goodness. He is staying to the outside, he's just not lifting. How about a little lift here for the leader? Rick. And he's gonna hold that spot and
contact.
Yep, there it is.
Oh, and Victor's around.
Oh, we talk about bear claws for the Backmarker United. You've got to get there early for the next meeting, and the Backmarker United.
Oh, Victor has trouble getting back on the track, slides back off.
He's going to have to set up the chairs. There you go. We're watching it right now. Look at the Backmarker on the inside. And not only did he not yield the position, but he was unable to hold the inside line. And he just came up on Tanaka. Ugh.
And Victor's already been over the radio. He is definitely not pleased, but great bit of driving on Victor's second off, though. Is able, even though he's in the grass, he's able to just narrowly miss the tires, though, so he's able to limit his damage to only what happened when we were in the car contact.
And to quote Queen, another one bites the dust. Now, Tanaka he hasn't been an angel today either. He's been involved with a couple guys, but there's a difference of getting together with a guy you're racing for the lead with and getting together with a Backmarker. That's a harder pill to swallow. What that means is the Eagle is out in front, Umberto Roca. Isn't it funny how the cream manages to rise? Even when the blender is on high. Kurt Poulter now. Started 7th, now your second place driver. And have the pit window opened up. Yeah, Tio is in.
And Jason Lundy started 12th, now up to 4th. Of course, Jason Lundy running in a 4th overall is also right now your highest running AM position.
Now here's the good news for Tanaka. Yes, he may have got some damage. He was able to come in the pit window, take his car, and of course they have the fast repair, so he took a quick one. And now he's out there clean. And Tanaka is the leader of all the cars who have pitted so far. Currently running in 7th position. The next car to have come in, Bubekic. Teo Bubekic. Teo's going to get a nickname real quick. All right, we are working now, 21 minutes to go.
Yeah, and unfortunately it looks like Peter Habron's hardware issues were more than he could overcome, and he is disconnected from the session.
We look at the driver in 9th right now. He has about a half-second lead on Dexter Castro. We talked about Castro trying to make up for all those issues. Let's watch it. Castro gets into the back of, that's Darren Leslie.
Man, I think Dex is at this point just wishing we'd stop talking about him.
Yeah. Well, they talk about how built that BMW is, how strong they are. He's already used up one of them. He's got fresh fenders. Might as well bang those up too. 4 fenders, 2 cars. That gives you 8 bites of the apple. We'll keep an eye on this battle for 7th while we watch the leaders. Roca's still out. And as I say that, the Eagle has landed as he comes in now for his first pit stop. Following him in is Kurt Poulter. How about a 2nd place run for Kurt? You know, of all the drivers at him in the top 10, he's probably the only one that hasn't been involved in anything.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking that, and as Fred McIntosh goes off, but Kurt has been running a relatively clean race, just picking people off as they have problems themselves, and is able to hold his own, not only that, speed-wise up front. So very, very good day for Kurt Poulter so far.
Okay, our contract with the Drivers Association makes us show you the leader when they get it from a pit stop. Right now, your leader is the Puffin Racing driver, Jason Lundy. I must admit that I do miss Puffin Racing. He used to run the blue and orange Gulf colors. Not racing those today. I can get used to these, though. Not quite sure what I'm looking at there, but the 204 is out in front. Lundy, a partner with Ratchie, both of those drivers running Fords. Of course, Ratchie has called it quits. Lundy, remember, is your overall leader in the amateur division, looking to make it a 3rd win this season. Roca is out now from his stop. Running in 2nd, he has a second, almost an 8 seconds lead over Poulter.
And I do believe that should complete the pit stop cycle for most everybody. I don't think we're waiting on anybody to come in here so far, except maybe Lundy. Of course, here he comes. So now we get to see where everybody shakes out at.
And Lundy, even before the cycle was running, I think, in the top 5. So we'll see how he plays out right now. In fact, maybe we can watch the leaders go by him. Let's go ahead. We'll pick up Roca. And Roca's going to go by Lundy right now. So there's one position. Let's drop back and look for Kurt Poulter. Poulter comes around. That's going to move him up to 2nd. And there's a nice battle. There goes Tanaka. Let's stay on this as a minute, as there goes Tank to the inside. And Tank moves up into 2nd position now. Poulter drops down to 3rd. Is Darling going to get out before Lundy? Yes, Lundy stays in there. So Lundy drops back to 5th. Bubekic goes by. Lawson goes by. Let's do a quick.
Lawson and Dex here have been in a
Yep.
great battle here for almost the entirety of the last lap.
Finally, Lundy must have taken tires. He was in there forever. So that's going to cost him. Let's go to 6th position, what Adam has just saw. The Ford and the BMW going at it here.
Yeah, the lap before last, Jared Lawson made a terrific move around the outside through turn 1 around Dexter. Dexter's going to take the position back a lap and a half later.
You let Dexter try to outbrake it, he's going to do it, but he can't blow it up enough in Honda, and he has to surrender it back. Dexter loves the braking power of the BMW, and it's good through this corner here. Now this is where he's going to suffer if that Ford starts to open it up as they head up the hill to Lukey Heights. Let's stay
All
on
that
it
American horsepower.
Yeah, let's stay on it a bit longer because watch if Dexter can close up. Let's see what he does into 10 as they dive down into the pit. We'll see if Dexter forces the issue. I don't think he's close enough to make a run here. We'll keep an eye on that one, but that's a nice battle. Castro trying to make up for his problems. Oh, up ahead, 5th position. Tio Bubivic is off into the alfalfa. And he brings it back out, but he's going to lose those 2 spots to Lawson and Castro.
Well, with as bad of luck as some people have had today, I think Tio will take just a simple off, no damage.
Back live now as he brings it back out onto the track. Let's go up to 6th position. Here
Dexter's
comes
looking.
Castro. He's in good spot here, Adam. He's going to... Can he make it stick?
No, he didn't have enough room to track out and lost a little bit of ground when that happened. Tell you what, though, Jared Lawson not doing too bad now, running in 5th after the Tio incident, after almost putting it on its lid a little while ago.
Castro again almost dives it into 10. He is really working hard. We'll stay on this battle because I'm not sure if we're actually going to get a clean pass. Remember, I don't think we're missing anything up front. Roca looks pretty comfortable. Tanaka has distanced himself from Poulter after making that pass. Darling is unchallenged. The best battle right now is 5th with about 15 minutes to go, and that's between Jared Lawson and Dexter Castro. Let's see what kind of run as we ride on board with Lawson there. We were looking back at the BMW. Now they gap themselves a little bit. Roca comes over the microphone and says, "That's all right, man. Don't worry," as he works his way around Jay Daguerre. Daguerre running in 25th position.
It really seems like right now, Jared Lawson is fantastic in the back. How does he get loose and he ends up putting it off the track in order to save the car, but he's going to have to give up the position to Dexter. Will he end up giving up the position to Tio as well?
Maybe
Tio a little too far back in order to take advantage of that. But wow, man, that was almost a very bad moment there. But Jared smartly puts it off.
That was all about pressure. Castro just being pesky.
I was just getting ready to say that it was really the difference between two things. That Dexter, Jared was better in the second half of the track than Dexter, and Dexter was better in the first half of the track. And that pressure there in the first half of the track, Jared ended up putting it off course.
So another mistake from a front runner. I had notes when I started, but there's absolutely no way I can read this. It looks like a chicken has been taking notes here. I've got stuff scratched out. All I know is that your leader is out there, Umberto Roca. He had trouble early, fell way back, worked his way back up. Thanks to some speed, and then thanks to this, some people getting out of the way for him.
You know, I have been watching, though, between Victor and Humberto's lap times.
Yeah.
Humberto's around.
Oh, it was Workman. Another backmarker. Workman almost goes over. We'll go ahead and see this again. It looks like, my goodness, Bart.
Just breathe. It'll be okay.
Okay, everybody. After Thanksgiving, find your local backmarker United meeting place. Let's all go have a meeting, and let's not try to chop off the the leader as he's coming through. I just don't understand it.
I was just getting ready to comment on the lap times between Humberto and Victor, that Victor is running him down at the pace of about a half second to 0.7 of a second a lap. But I thought maybe he might run out of time. But now, with that incident, I really think Victor is going to have a chance to get on Humberto's back bumper here before the end of this race.
12 minutes to do it, a gap of 3.7 seconds. We'll watch that. Those Audis are kind of delicate, and man, that was a pretty good shot. So we look at Tanaka work his way around.
Victor has some back markers of his own he's going to have to get around.
That's Paul Honeybaked Hamilton there on the taking the inside. Just yield that spot there, Paul. Paul's a veteran driver. He knows how to do that. He lifts a little bit for the Ford, and Tanaka's Audi gets around. So let's give you that interval now, 3.6. That's 3.6 with just under 12 minutes. Yeah, Roca looking pretty good, and actually his Audi looks pretty good, not too worse for wear after that incident. But my gosh. Could be this because it's the first time GSRC has been on board so far this season. Everyone getting a little stage fright with the camera on them. Let's go to 6th position. So we're looking at Jared Eifoff, the Lawson, is being run down by Phillip as they come in, and there's another car. My goodness, that is Fred McIntosh, who actually pulls it over and pretty much parks it. But that's all right, Fred.
And Tio's all over the back bumper of Jared Lawson right now. So we'll have to see. In fact, Tio's going to have a good look on the inside of Jared Lawson. Jared's going to shut the door, though.
Lawson running in 6th. They work their way past pit entrance, coming around. Both these drivers have been out there for 33 laps. They're going to be working
good
lap
run
34.
from Tio at the exit of that corner. He's going to give him all he's worth here going into 1. Actually, I think Tio backs out of a little bit. That's not too bad. Not too bad of a move there.
Yeah, and I think Jared, what he did there was took that defensive line and then just decided to say, okay, never mind. So Lawson running in 6th. Bubic running in 7th. They continue to battle. Bubic in the blue car. Lawson in that Screw Loose Racing black and red machine. And my goodness, they're running 5th. They're also running, Screw Loose is also running 3rd and 2nd. 2nd, 3rd, and 5th for that racing. Now, I'm not sure. I believe there might be 2 Screw Loose cars, so I'm not sure if they're both on the same team. That's an Audi. I think it's Screw Loose Audi. I think is what Tanaka is running. Poulter running an Audi as well. And then we'll see what Lawson is running. Is he running an Audi as well? No, he's running the Ford. So I believe that's a different team. Continue to look at that battle.
I know Robert Tarbox is running one of the Screw Loose cars in a Ford.
Boy, a really slow car is Bart Workman after having the car almost over there. They went around him. He was almost like a standing still. As we continue to look at this battle, we can stay on, and let me just tell you that that interval from Roca to Tanaka, it was 3.6 seconds. It's now down to 3 seconds.
Ooh, Tio with the move here. He's going to get around Jared. Will he be able to hold it? Jared goes for the over-under. But Tio is able to retain the position.
Give 6 to Tio Bubeck. Jared Lawson. Now in 7th. Lawson still fighting back. This is a good battle between these guys. Liam Park coming over the microphone telling Umberto Roca how to get around him. Roca does that easily. But the interval from Roca to Tanaka, 2.6 seconds. 0.4 of a second since I talked to you last.
At that rate, he's going to catch him maybe on the final lap.
7.5 minutes to go. Could depend on traffic and how quickly they can get around it. Look at what we're looking at there. Tanaka is in. Sorry, Scott Johnson.
He
Liam
knows.
Park. I got
he
places
knows.
to go, yeah. And now there is nobody between him and the leader, but the interval just from that little traffic has grown back to 3.1. Let's go ahead back to our leader as he's going to be coming up on David Anderson. How quickly can Roca get around Anderson? Looks like he's going to catch him in a good spot of the track.
Real quick, I'll let you know the top three in the AM class right now. Drew Lidke, Jason Lundy, and Tim Collier all running 8th, 9th, and 10th on track within about 5 seconds of each other. Your top three in the gentleman division, Anthony James right now running in 13th overall, James Hume running in 16th overall, and David Slee running in 17th overall.
And one of the points I was trying to make before I got interrupted by some action that broke out on the track is for this season, the scoring in all those classes are going to be scoring each other against each other. So it's 30 points to the driver who wins their class no matter where they finish. So right now, Anthony James, your top driver in the gentleman, he'll score 30 and then it'll go down from there. Those looking there at James. And James gets the move on Paulson, moves up a spot. And now the lead is under 2 seconds. Roca has worked his way around Anderson. Anderson is the cushion that is separating first from second. 5 minutes to go. Interval of 1.8, 1.7, 1.6. You can see it there. Now it starts to grow again. A little bit of the accordion effect. We ride on board with Tank.
Yeah, Roca had a little bit of trouble getting around Anderson, kind of caught him in a bad spot, but I don't think that Victor is going to have the same trouble, so the advantage there is definitely going to go to Victor Tanaka.
David, take the car wide if you can. Give him the apex. That's how you do it. That's how you earn yourself a Bear Claw. Nice going. Not only Bear Claw, but maybe some real cream in your coffee. Some of these guys are going to get the powdered creamer, and they have to come in early to set up the chairs. 1.5 seconds between Roca and Tanaka. 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Mark. Lap times of 1:26. Looks like this lap, maybe 2 more when they come across as they're working the back half of the track now. We'll stay on the front 2 as they try to get close. 1.4. Your leader dives into the MG corner. Oh no, and there goes Victor sliding through the grass. And that's going to cost him a position and possibly more. I think he's going to give out before Coulter. Coulter, I apologize. Let's ride on board. Just over the crest as he comes, and then he takes a ride through the fescue.
Well, somebody just needs to get on the radio now to Humberto and let him know, hey, you take it easy from here on out. Don't do anything. It's yours if you want it.
The bad news for Tanaka was he was coming and had a chance at the win. The good news was he was able to have that spin and not lose a position to Poulter. I believe the podium is pretty secure right now with just under 3 minutes to go. Paul Darling looks pretty comfortable in 4th position, 13 seconds ahead. of how about that BMW of Dexter Castro running in 5th. What a great job from Dexter. Probably passed more cars than anybody today. Teo Bubic running in 6th spot.
Which I think Teo might be one of your biggest movers of the race because he started in 11th.
Yeah, up 5 spots.
Oh, I take that back. Tim Collier.
Oh my goodness! There goes a car off, and that was Honey Baked Hamilton, as if he just forgot where the brake pedal was. Let's see what happened. Saw him shoot through. Oh, the car got loose, then it got on the grass, and there was no stopping it. He was worried about punting Lawson up ahead. Poor Jared, that had to scare him. All of a sudden, the car goes across his windscreen.
Well, point out Tim Collier right now running third in your AM division. He's up 8 spots from the start of the race from 18th up to 10th. But your biggest mover that I found is Anthony James, also your leader in the gentleman division. He started in 22nd. He's worked himself up to 12th overall.
Oh, it's nice to be the top gentleman. But it's also nice to have a great run like that. Picking up 10 spots. Congratulations to Tony James. Right now running 12th. He's not quite secure in 12th, though, as he's got an amateur driver behind him there, Curtis Paulson, running in 13th. We'll keep an eye on that one as our leader is about to take the white flag, or has he yet? Working through corner number 10, coming around. We believe this is going to be the white flag as he comes around here. Going to be the 3rd win for Umberto Roca this season. Going to give him a perfect score of 90 when we return for round number 5. As the Bolivian Blur comes across, picks up the white flag. Victor Tanaka comes across. He's got a 5-second lead on Poulter. Let's go back up and pick a little bit of this battle for, I guess, 6th here. Teo Bubic has a pretty comfortable lead, about a 2nd lead on Jared Lawson as they work around the lap car of Darren Leslie. Director, I don't see any more battles inside the top 10 as we're going to look nothing really much to cover. So I think right now, let's go ahead and put our cameras on our leader. Hailing from Florida in the Delta Motorsports machine. Beautiful car. Couple shades of blue with those yellow wheels. Umberto the Eagle Roca negotiating the back half of the track, working this final corner. GSRC is glad to be back here for the CMS GT3 Series, and on our return we call the winner. Umberto the Eagle Roca wins round number 4. Victor Tank Tanaka looking for, we're hearing that maybe James is having some trouble. Anthony James has had to pit. Remember, he was running in 12th position. He's going to have to come in. That's going to knock him down to the last car on the lead lap. Looks like everybody else coming across. Let's pick up Jared Lawson as he comes across right now, finishing his lap. He's going to finish in, let's get the official spot from him, 7th. Your top amateur driver, Jason Lundy, comes across in 8th, just ahead of Drew Litke from Canada. Collier crossing the start-finish line in 10th. Miguel Acrudo started 6th, lost 5 positions, going to come across in 11th. Looking to see if we have, yes, let's go ahead and put the camera on the last car on the lead lap, James Hume. Right now running in 15th position, just behind James Stacy. Coming across, Chris Hudson gets 13th, James Stacy gets 14th, and James Hume, I believe, is going to be your top gentleman driver. Yes, indeed. That's his third win of the season in that class as he comes across 15 but picks up a full 30 points for the top gentleman driver. Okay, we are not done even though we're about to take a break. You're watching the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll be gone for just a few minutes. Then we'll come back, run down the entire field, do driver interviews, and close up shop. Don't go far. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Championship Motorsports Series. This is the GTE series, the GT3 series from Phillip Island, round 4 of 10. And in the background here in the booth up in the press box, I can see some of the newspaper reporters have on Charlie Brown Thanksgiving. And it seems like some of these drivers were about as pushy as Peppermint Patty trying to invite herself over to Chuck's Thanksgiving dinner, as there was nothing but bumping and elbowing today. Umberto Roca was your winner. He had to work his way back from a mistake. Victor Tanaka also came into contact, was up and was down. The only guy that was really polite for the entire race with good manners was Kurt Poulter, who got that top 3 finish. Paul Darling had some issues. He worked his way up to fourth. Dexter Castro, my goodness, was all over the track and the fescue everywhere you want to be in the sand. 5th position from him. Teo Bubic in 6th position. Jared Lawson in 7th. Jason Lundy is your top amateur driver. He picks up his 3rd win in that class. Again, he'll be sporting a perfect 90 points when we come back next week. Drew Litke is going to in 9th, and then rounding out your top 10, another amateur drivers. We have amateur there in 8th, 9th, and 10th, and that's going to be Tim Collier. Adam?
Yeah, right. In the 11th position, we're going to be sticking with Miguel Alcrudo. Of course, he had a pretty eventful day in his Audi. Curtis Paulson running in 12th. Chris Hudson running in 13th. James Stacy bringing her home in 14th. James Hume, your gentleman winner here for today in 15th. And gentleman second place, Scott Johnson in 16th. Gentleman third place, David Anderson running in 17th. In 18th, David Slee. In 19th, Robert Tarbox Jr. And 20th, Bart Workman.
Looking at the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, my goodness, Snoopy and Woodstock are having Thanksgiving dinner. Woodstock is eating turkey. That doesn't seem right for a bird to be cannibalistic. Anthony James in the blackjack position. Jay Daguerre hitting the double deuce spot. Liam Park in 23rd. The double dozen spot goes to Darren Leslie. Paul Honey Baked Hamilton in the quarter century mark. Fred McIntosh. Ooh, ham and apple right there. They go together. In 26th position, Paul Hebron in 27th. Rick Smith and little Miggy Alcrudo running 28th and 29th. Tom Ratchey, he was running up front, I think has got as high as 2nd spot before disaster hit. He had to park the Ford, 34 laps down in 30th. And then the last car, Simon G. Goodwin, 37 laps down. Okay, the interval room is full. What we'll try to do is bring these guys in, maybe talk to them quickly, see how many we can get. I'm going to start with our race winner today. We're going to go ahead and bring in Umberto the Eagle Roca, hailing from Bolivia, now living in Florida. Congratulations on the 3rd win of the season, but Umberto, you had to work for it.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, it was hard, but yeah, got it.
Well, let's start off early. You were in good shape. Then you got into trouble. Tell us, can you remember? There were a lot of incidents. Can you recall that first problem that you had?
Well, in the beginning, at the start, I actually got like a very good jump. I was just in the right gear. It was great. But then Victor just closed on me, and I have to lift. And I think it was Dexter, the one who hit me. And I just got passed by everyone. And then I got caught by Kurt, which was driving amazing in front of me, and I was unable to pass him. It was just crazy.
Then let's talk about, we caught the I think it was in Honda there, that the corner 4, a back marker just kind of cut you off.
Well, yeah. Honestly, I don't blame him. Sometimes things happen so fast that you don't realize you have a car suddenly there, and it was eventful, but in the end, I had to keep on going, and the car was a little bit crashed in the left side, and I was having a little bit of troubles turning to the left. But I was doing my best, and hopefully and thankfully, Victor couldn't catch me. Something happened to him, I think, and that.
Yeah, that's where I wanted to go. I'll get you out on this question at the very end. Were you watching that Victor was able to run you down? Were you racing with all you had, or were you minding the gap there until Victor finally had that spun and then you could bring it home?
Honestly, I was doing everything I could. And it was, I think I wasted half of my tires trying to get past Kurt for like 4 or 5 laps. And I was giving everything I got. I caught everyone, and then I was doing my best trying to get away from Victor, but Victor had a good pace. And then when I got into the pits, I was like 9.5 seconds in front of him, and then when the crash happened, I was like 8.5, about 8.5, and then after the crash, it was like 3.5. So I had to like give everything I got because he's gonna catch me, and with the car banged up. So
I know you were born in Bolivia, but now you're in the U.S. Have you gotten used to Thanksgiving? You have Thanksgiving plans tomorrow?
Yeah, actually, it's been 5 years since I live here, and this is my 5th Thanksgiving, and we have a pretty good dinner here.
All right, best holiday in my opinion we have here in the States. Congratulations. Sometimes the wins come easy. That's not the case today for Umberto Roca, who takes home the checkered flag. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Who do you want to talk to now? Let's go ahead and see. Adam, you want to talk to, who do we have here for you? You want to talk to Victor Tanaka?
Oh, we're going to go ahead and bring in actually Jason Lundy here.
Okay.
He's running in 8th place finish, your champion today in the AM division. Jason is currently trying to make his way up to the booth here, but he had a pretty good run, relatively compared to some people, uneventful. Jason, how'd your day go for you from the cockpit?
I just couldn't get a good lap down in qualifying, but managed to put it 3rd in class, and from there the first few laps were pretty much carnage. A lot of guys running into each other, a lot of action on and off the track, but once I got out in front of the class lead, it was pretty much just good running for me. I put down clean laps, ran behind one of the pros and saved a little bit of gas. So all in all, it's a good day for me until the pit stop, and I made a little mistake on strategy. Had to chase down Tim and Drew to get back in front, but managed to do that on fresh rubber, so I'm quite happy. 3rd win in a row.
Yeah, and of course you're going to be going into the next race with that with perfect 90 on the points board. What's going to be the key to keeping consistency here through the rest of the season?
This league is so competitive. I mean, I think you guys saw it in qualifying. In the middle of the field, it's really bunched up tight. So you just have to prepare well for each race, get your strategy down that you're going to run, put in the practice laps, and just make sure you do everything in your power to finish as well as you can.
Well, James, once again, congratulations on the AM win today. And, of course, we're asking everybody, so we might as well ask you, too, what you got going on tomorrow for the Thanksgiving holiday?
Of course, some turkey will be involved, but then mostly just kick back and relax.
Yeah, I understand that. Well, hey, try to have a good holiday, and good luck next time.
Thanks, guys.
There you have it. Jason Lundy is your overall 8th place finisher, but of course the leader in the amateur division. We're going to bring in now the car who finished the last car on the lead lap. Why are we going to talk to James Humes, you may ask? Well, because car number 357 is your top gentleman driver today, and I believe this is the 3rd win of the season for James. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. This was a bit of a tough one, I must say.
Yeah, it was I don't know who had it worse, you guys on the track or our director, who kept having to go to replays. We spent about as much time in instant replay as we did live. Did you have some incidents out there?
Well, lap 1, I'm not sure exactly what happened. I think it was a bit of a racing incident. I didn't realize we were 3 wide, and I left room for what I thought would be enough for 2 wide, and it wasn't enough. So I think I may have come down on James Stacy, and I feel bad for that, but I think he probably got the worst end of it, but we both got spun around there and, tried to recover from there. And there's a couple other things that probably shouldn't have gone my way, but, a win is a win. I'll take it.
Well, trust me, when you look at the big picture of this race, when you have a chance to review it, you'll end up just another drop in the bucket of all the incidents that happened out there. Let me ask you a couple things here. First of all, if my notes are right, you're racing for Puffin Racing. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, this is my 3rd season with Puffin.
Well, what the heck? Where is the golf paint scheme? Is that gone now? Are you in on the decision making on this? We have something new out there.
I fancy myself a bit of a painter, and Jason's been gracious enough to entertain my harebrained ideas for paint jobs, and since we switched away from the BMW, I think we're just trying a new take on things this season.
Well, what the heck am I looking at there? There's like a circle on the hood and then some type of abstract water splash on the side. This is some crazy stuff.
Yeah, SteelSeries is one of Jason's and mine, swear by brands as far as PC equipment is concerned, and that circle on the hood is the SteelSeries logo. As far as the stuff on the side, I was just, I don't know what I was thinking on that one.
Hey, that's all right. A little bit of Jackson Pollock going on there. Hey, we're going to ask you about some Thanksgiving. Are you traveling for Thanksgiving, or are they coming to your place?
Well, my wife and I are 2,200 miles removed from our family, so we're just going to have a nice quiet day with just the two of us, and a little turkey, a couple naps, and some football.
Oh, there are a lot of people who are cooking right now that are jealous of you. That sounds pretty good. Congratulations on the win today in the gentleman class. You better be careful, buddy. They're going to knock 100 points off of your car number there pretty soon.
Well, not if I can help it. I like this class. I'll tell you what. Watch out for Anthony James, man. He's coming back from some shoulder surgery, and he's going to be a force for the season. I'm telling you.
All right. Good luck. Thank you the rest of the way. Good luck the rest of the way. James Hume, your 15th place finisher today. Last car on the lead lap, but the winner in the gentleman class. Need to talk to our director. Are we doing one more?
We're going to go ahead and bring in Victor Tanaka this time. Of course, I imagine Victor probably has quite a bit to say after earlier on.
There you go, Adam. Go for it.
Yeah, Victor, of course, pretty eventful day for you, but let's focus on the first half of the race first. Of course, it got started off okay, and, what happened from there?
Hello, guys. Thanks a lot for the broadcast. It was a very cool, crazy race. It was very crazy out there, lots of traffic and stuff like that. But, in the beginning, I just got a little distracted. I had a few phone calls and I just had to answer them, and it was crazy trying to drive and race at the same and trying to target phone at the same time. I do apologize for I just was not focused at all in the beginning there. But yeah, it was still a lot of fun, and halfway through, just before the pit stop, had a little incident there with the lap car, and like I said, it was just brutal amounts of traffic tonight.
Yeah, and of course, the lap traffic played a pretty big role in tonight, and obviously not just your incident, but there was definitely a couple more. What was in the water? What's so different about Phillip Island that we had those kind of problems here for tonight?
Yeah, I believe it's just the nature of the track, in the fast flowing corners. It just, for people with less experience, it's very difficult to drive off the line. So yeah, that's probably most of it. The less experienced guys just have trouble, driving off the line. So it's kind of hard for them to get out of the way at some points of the track. And we don't want to waste a single tenth of a second, so we always try to go for the tiniest gaps.
All right. Well, hey, Victor. Obviously, despite the trouble, you're able to bring it home in second today. Asking everybody, what are you doing for Thanksgiving tomorrow?
I'm just going very early to the mall, try to get some cheap stuff tomorrow, Friday morning.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for taking part in what was definitely an entertaining race, and hopefully we'll catch you next time on the podium.
Yeah, thanks a lot for the broadcast, guys. As always, amazing. I'm just gonna go back and watch the whole thing. I'm pretty sure you guys did a great job as always.
Victor Tanaka should never assume anything about GSRC, but honestly, I think was a pretty good broadcast thanks to our director, Amjad Yaman, who, again, remember, if you're shopping for Christmas, he could use a new replay button as he wore it out on this race, that's for sure. Hey, stick with us here as I go through these thanks. We'd like to thank Championship Motorsports for organizing this series and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. The original music you heard today, you know who it's from. It's Eric Eckelman, Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact them. to download their digital music. And for Pete's sake, when you listen to it, use headphones so you get some stereo separation there. The Championship Motorsports GT3 Series returns in 2 weeks. That's December 7th from Le Mans, and GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, such as upcoming and archive broadcasts, or just to schedule GSRC to broadcast an event of your own, your best bet is GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at Global Sim Racing Channel. So now, on behalf of my mic make Adam Young, our director, I'm Jed Yaman, camera artist Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and for those in the U.S., hey, have a happy Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. And with that said, it's time for us to go have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and gobble gobble.